Everybody talks about Ranieri being the most ready youngster, but for me, I feel as though Myles Skelly is the one most ready. He has been really impressive over this pre-season, and I'm just going to talk about his performance against Bayer Leverkusen as his clip's going next to me. Shout out to LH Astim on Twitter for these videos and YouTube. Check him out, he's really good at these comps. But the way Skelly has been playing for me has been so impressive. We know we associate him as a player who can play in the midfield, but the way he's adapted to that inverted left back role is just so impressive, especially at the Emirates Stadium with the home crowd. It can be quite hard for a youngster coming into the side, especially coming in on at half time where we already were in a fluid sort of form. It can be hard to adjust, but he really took to that role so well. It's almost like having a 50 million player spawn into your academy, and that's such a rare thing to, you know, sort of have as a football club. And I feel like for me, Myles Skelly's most, you know, impressive sort of way in which he plays football is the way he receives the ball. You know, I feel like when we look at academy players, see how successful they can be, I feel like how they receive the ball is the most important thing. The way that he shifts his body, protects the ball, is exactly what you need in senior football. And a lot of, you know, youngsters don't have this, but he definitely does. He's a strong boy. He knows how to use his body. It's all ticks, you know, for a player who's, you know, tipped to play in midfield. I feel like left back is just an area for him to get used to doing more defensive stuff. So when he steps into midfield, he'll be used to the duels, because playing left back, you have direct 1v1 duels. So when he does eventually get moved back into midfield, he'll know how to do those 1v1 duels and be really effective with it. But the way he receives the ball against people much older than him is just absolutely incredible to see. You know, you can tell even the other players, they trust to give him the ball in tight spaces because they know he knows how to use his body to evade the press, evade the pressure. And it's not just against Bayer Leverkusen in the clips you see, it's the other preseason games which I'll show next to me as well. He's just so good. The way he receives the ball, firstly as a footballer, as a youngster, is just so impressive. And also another thing is his ball carrying. We don't see it as much when he plays left back, but the way he drives with the ball, carries the ball, is also very impressive. There's not a lot of players in football who have that ability to drive with the ball, especially, you know, with the contact that they receive. But Myles Skelly is so good at that. He evades pressure so well. There was so many games in the preseason where he would do a lovely pirouette, get away from the pressure, play a ball into the feet of the attacker. It was just so good to see. And I just can't believe he's so young. He's 17 years old, and the things we're seeing from him, it's like somebody who knows how to play football. And when I try and profile Myles Skelly, it's so hard. Is he a defensive midfielder? Is he you know, a pass first midfielder? Is he a carry first midfielder? I don't know. But he does remind me of Moussa Dembele of Tottenham Hotspur, who was really good with dribbling, a unicorn profile, somebody that can really take the game by the scruff of its neck, drive from deep, create something from deeper, you know, positions by the way he drives, by the way he uses his body, but also his immaculate passing ability is so good at just 17 years old. I feel like he's the profile we miss more than Ranieri, because in Ranieri's position, to be fair to him, you've got Ødegaard, Vieira, Havertz can play in the, you know, 8 positions as well. There's so many players. It's a stacked position. If Marino comes in as well, there's a lot of competition for Ranieri. And I feel like somebody like Myles Skelly, who's more defensive, better in the duels, strong, robust, he's more suited to come into this team now. And I feel like it will surprise a lot of people as well how many minutes Myles Skelly will play compared to Ranieri. I feel like Ranieri will be involved a lot, but Myles Skelly should not be counted out as a player who's going to be so important for us. And I feel like a lot of Arsenal fans are starting to see how good he is, the way he receives the ball, the way he drives with the ball. He's a unicorn profile, and I'm just so excited to see him play. Him getting those minutes at the Emirates Stadium is massive as well. And after the game as well, there were some images there with Myles Skelly and Mikel Arteta talking. And that's what you love to see. People always say Mikel Arteta doesn't like the youth. I feel like that's a ridiculous thing to say. To see the way he nurtures the youth, and he almost loves them so much. He just doesn't want to throw them into these tricky scenarios because he knows how the media can get onto you. He knows, you know, how difficult it can be for a young player coming to a side with so high expectations. So he's just slowly bedding them in, and you know, he'll know better than us when these youngsters are ready to play, you know, competitive minutes consistently. And I feel like we just got to trust Mikel Arteta with that, and I feel like we are going to be so happy when we see that Ranieri and Skelly are 100% ready for the first team. But yeah, what were your thoughts on Myles Skelly's performance against Bayer Leverkusen? What is your thoughts on him as well overall over this preseason? How good has he been? He's been one of the standouts for sure out of the Haaland boys, and I feel like a lot of us are going to see him play a lot of minutes this season, especially in the cup games, because he definitely has the quality. But anyway, guys, that is it for now, and until next time, peace.